Greetings, members of the Parliament. It is with honor today that I'll be speaking about keeping the death penalty legal. As Abraham Lincoln once said to a letter to Henry L. Pierce and others in 1859, those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and under a just God can no longer retain it. There's also multiple other U.S. presidents that share the same point of view. For example, George W. Bush, Ronald Wilson Reagan, and Theodore Roosevelt. I think that the death penalty is what keeps multiple tragedies from happening and is saving multiple lives. Let's say if a serial killer goes and kills 3 people, he will be sentenced to jail for a certain amount of time. When he gets released, because he has nothing to do, no one to help him, and no one to actually forgive him, he'll probably go and do the same crime again because he said, hey, it was fun when I did it. And that cycle the cycle can continue multiple times, which creates multiple tragedies. If it would be the death penalty, the killer would be killed, would be legally executed after his first crime, and the other crimes that he will commit after he gets released from jail would not happen. And there are multiple states that in the U.S. that have a lot of executions. Let's say the highest executing state. Since 1976, Texas had 474 executions, which means that the death penalty would have kept a lot of killers from killing even more or committing even more crimes and more other serious crimes.
Good morning, honorable members of the opposition and esteemed guests. It is with great pleasure and pride that I am able to address this esteemed chamber on the pressing matter of death penalty. Coretta Scott King once said, "Justice is never advanced in the taking of a human life. Taking away a life is inhuman, which is why I'm strongly against death penalty. It makes absolutely no sense to punish a crime by another crime like death. And plus, there's always a possibility to put an innocent on death row. I am against death penalty because punishing crime by death is not a way to build a beneficent and respectful society. On the contrary, we will end up having a pernicious society. Killing people because of a crime they did doesn't make any sense. Death penalty is basically like saying an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But this thinking should not be applied when it comes to ending a human life. A crime for a crime. That is telling us that our life is invaluable enough, and the right to live is essential to every human. Vengeance is in no way a method to get justice."
So my second opinion, a prisoner's life sentence costs a lot of money to the people who live in that state. The average age at what a person is sent on death row is 28 years old, and the average lifespan of a human living in the USA is 79 years old. So the inmate will be incarcerated for approximately 51 years on average. And the average cost of an incarcerated inmate in the United States is around $32,000, which means that how much the citizens from the state will be paying for one incarcerated inmate on death sentence is $1.6 million for every inmate. And let's take, for example, the 474 executions from Texas. All those people, if they were not executed, they would have either stayed on death sentence, which would cost the people living in that state a lot of money, 1.6 million for every inmate, or those killers would be released, probably commit new crimes and go back in and still cost the state a lot of money for being in jail. And what that means, actually, higher taxes for every death sentenced inmate. And my idea of thinking is that if we execute those people, we save time, money, and lives. And yeah.
I am against death penalty because innocent people could die. It is a known fact that humans aren't perfect, and therefore we make many mistakes. It is also very possible to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. According to an article of the magazine Mother Jones, approximately 20,000 people are falsely convicted to prison, which means that all of these people could end up being on death row right now. And for what? A mistake made by the jury? That person's life could be taken away even if he had done nothing. and he was just a poor innocent. It's false to say that a serial killer could go back into society and go kill more people, because in prison they have many psychologists helping them with their mental health. If a psychologist feels that an individual is too dangerous to reintegrate the society, their prisoner sentence will be extended.
I think it's false to say that taking the life of someone for a crime they did is wrong, because if a person goes and kills a lot of innocent people, his life should be taken for the lives that he took and the lives that he haunted. And he knew that he was taking another person's life, and he knew that what he was doing is wrong, and he knows that there should be and there will be consequence for the acts that he did. And I think it's just right to say that his life will be taken for the lives that he took and that he may take on another day. So in conclusion, I'm definitely for the death penalty because it saves lives and it saves us money. And I think we should redefine the meaning of death penalty and show the people how it actually helps. Thank you for listening, members of the Parliament, and thank you for participating in this interesting debate, Mrs. Sinisha.
Against death penalty because punishing a crime by another crime doesn't make any sense, and because innocents could have their life taken away for no reason. Death penalty was mostly used in the 17,000s. I think it's time to leave these barbaric punishments in the past and move on to the present. Thank you, dear audience, and Mr. Ojbota for being part of this debate today.